Can I replace some JavaScript code in an existing web application with C# using WebAssembly? And if so, is it actually a good idea? Here's the story, a story that might sound familiar. When I started one of my projects almost 10 years ago, it was planned to be just a small web application, fetching some data and generating a few reports. Back then, there was hardly any front-end logic, so I chose plain JavaScript instead of TypeScript for simplicity. But over time, the application grew, and so did the amount of JavaScript. And now I'm hitting its limits. Limited static code checks, no type safety, and only basic IntelliSense support. The obvious solution would be to migrate to TypeScript, right? But this is where I started wondering, could WebAssembly actually offer a real alternative? Switching to Blazor isn't really feasible. It would require rewriting the whole frontend. But maybe I could simply replace parts of the JavaScript logic with C# with minimal effort. Let's try it out. The sample code I have chosen for this experiment is a simple cache implementation. It uses a dictionary to store past JSON objects and session storage for backup. It follows the last recently used principle, which means when the cache limit is reached, the last recently used object is removed. This cache is used to implement a cache adapter for the Axios Ajax library to cache server responses in the browser transparently for the application logic. We start the experiment by installing the WebAssembly tools. Then we create a new .NET project for our WebAssembly. We choose a console application because the WebAssembly runtime needs an executable assembly with a managed entry point to start and host the .NET runtime. Next, we add the following properties to turn it into a WebAssembly project. Before making any further modifications, let's compile it once to verify that the initial setup works. The entry point of a simple WebAssembly doesn't require much logic. We only need to keep the .NET runtime alive in the browser, which we achieve with an asynchronous never completing wait. With the basic WebAssembly skeleton ready, it's time to convert the JavaScript cache class into C#. I intentionally didn't apply much refactoring so that both implementations remain comparable for this experiment. To give the C# cache implementation access to session storage and other browser or JavaScript functions, we need to define import hooks for each function explicitly. These imports must be declared as static partial methods inside a static partial class, decorated with the GSImport attribute, naming the JavaScript function to import. The compiler then generates the implementations for them automatically during the build. To expose the C# cache implementation to the web application, we also need to define explicit exports using the GSExport attribute. Since these exports must be static, we create a dedicated cache API class. It provides these exports and manages multiple cache instances using an internal table and IDs. With this, our WebAssembly is ready to be used inside the web application. To integrate the WebAssembly, we first update the build scripts in the package.json for both build and dev to ensure that the WebAssembly project is built as part of the process. At runtime, the web application treats the WebAssembly like any other static asset. To make the integration easier, we install the Vite plugin static copy and set it up in the Vite config like this. This copies the WebAssembly output to a .NET subfolder in the output directory when building the application and makes it available under the .NET path when running Vite's development server. During my first attempt, I made a mistake that took me a while to figure out. I configured the path to the publish folder because I built the WebAssembly using the .NET publish command. But it turned out this folder is incomplete and the runtime couldn't load from there. The correct location is the app bundle framework folder, which contains the full runtime package. With the WebAssembly available, we can integrate it into the application. To make the cache API easier to use, we create a small JavaScript facade for it. It encapsulates the ID handling needed for managing multiple instances of the cache. Next, we add a small utility that determines the correct WebAssembly location, depending on whether we are in development or production mode. We use that to import the WebAssembly and then create the .NET runtime. Then we initialize the runtime by providing the module imports our C# code expects. We retrieve the exports from the WebAssembly, in particular the Web API class, and store it in a global variable. Finally, we use the create method of the cache API to instantiate a cache and wrap it in the JavaScript facade. Next, we adapt the Axios cache adapter accordingly. We only need to replace the new cache call with a getCache function because creation is now asynchronous and requires an await. Apart from that, we can use the C# cache implementation just like the original JavaScript version. When we launch the web application and click the button to call the backend for the first time, we can see that the WebAssembly is loaded and the .NET runtime initializes successfully. Clicking the button again shows that the cache isn't reinitialized. Remember, the cache initialized successfully message is written when the constructor of the C# cache class is called. So everything works as expected. So I would say, mission completed. We successfully replaced some JavaScript code with C#. But the real question is it worth it? The benefits of this approach are that I can use the same language with full type safety and a strong compiler for front-end logic as in the backend. And I can use the power of the .NET framework not only for implementation but also for testing. But the drawbacks are that there's quite a bit of boilerplate code, which makes integration less smooth. And it adds runtime overhead. The package size increased by about 3.5 MB, which is quite a lot for a small web application. And the interop calls between JavaScript and .NET likely add some performance cost as well. So my conclusion from this experiment is, I won't continue this approach in my current project. The benefits don't outweigh the drawbacks. This might change if there were significantly more C# code to be reused in the frontend. But there's one very interesting alternative called Fable, an F# to JavaScript compiler that could provide the same advantages without these downsides. And if you're new to F#, I have the perfect quick start for you in this video.